Hi, welcome to Silver Screen News with us, the Silver Screen Dudes. I'm Anthony Jordan.
I'm Nico Luro.
And it's a bit of a special this week. We're going for two, they say if it's nice, play it twice. We're remixing that slightly. We know fans of the top 5 are out there. So much of a fan last week that we decided to do a special. Instead of movie news, we're throwing two movie top 5s at you. Nick, give us a bit more info.
Yeah, this is a special one. Do you know what? I'm going to get straight to the point. We are doing 2 top 5s this week. First off, because not much news came out, as you said. Secondly, because I'll let our British friend Sean Bean tell you more.
Honorary silver screener.
Our honorary silver screener Sean Bean tell you more. Check this out, guys.
They have a cave troll.
Yes. AJ, we have a cave troll.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
We have our first troll, and we're honoured.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
When you get a troll, you're doing something right.
They say when you're doing, the haters come out when you're doing right, and
precisely.
Clearly, we are.
Now, I'm gonna make you famous, my friend. There we go.
Normally 15 minutes, but hey, take 15 seconds. Yeah,
exactly. This guy has been offended by something that AJ and myself have said. Probably more me. Don't know. Doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is he has responded to one of our shows by attempting to insult us by insinuating that we are gay and asking us when are you two YouTube gay boys getting married. As if this is an insult.
Okay, first of all, when are we getting married? Just to kill off the point. When either of us two get married, the other one will surely be in attendance.
Most likely.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Most likely, most definitely.
Yeah. So that's point one.
Do you know what it is? I think what this guy's done by making these comments. Thank you for what is getting serious for a minute here. Because actually, what this guy's done is he hasn't upset me on a personal level. It upsets me that there are people like this out there. As harsh as it sounds, look, all he's done by actually saying what he said is he's shown that he's very prejudiced. If he thinks that bringing our sexual orientation, calling us homosexual is in any way an insult, he's just showing himself up there. He's not giving anything away about us. He's just showing himself up there. And I say cave troll because frankly, I mean, has he lived in a cave for the last 20, 30 years? I mean, dude, we are in the 21st century. This is a time for freedom of speech, freedom of choice. I'm just quite surprised that there's still people out there who use homosexuality as a form of an insult. So to every dark prejudice cloud out there, I say thank you. Thank you. Because what you've done is you have given the boys and our producers inspiration for our second top 5 show this week.
You know what it is? We have a silver lining and we are the Silver Screen Dudes delivering Silver Screen News, and we're going to keep it shining the way we do.
Keep that light shining through this dark cloud of prejudice, and we will be doing the top 5 roles and performances that challenged sexuality prejudice.
Yeah, you see, as we've said, and you can check the links above, it's in one of our top 5s. We welcome the challenge of whatever top 5 you throw at us. It used to be a top 10, but it's top 5, but it's still the same challenge, and we always accept. Sometimes negative, sometimes positive, and you know what? We're not here for trolling, but if you really want to stick out in that way, I'm going to stick on a movie reference. I don't normally feed a gremlin after midnight. I don't normally wet them, but you know what? Challenge accepted. You wanted to talk gender and orientation, then okay, it was a top 5. Sometimes I have ideas for top 5, Nico has it, producers have it. We have to battle it and win and lose. This one we all agreed on. We can touch it because we're open, we're free, we're all about love. One earth, one community, one breath,
one love.
That's the one.
So I guess I should take this away then.
Yes, I believe I started the last one, so I believe this is your chance to start.
All right. So we're going to be starting off with my 5, 4, 3. My number 5, I will be starting off with Robin Williams in The Birdcage.
Okay, yeah.
This movie, which was a remake of a French movie called La Cage aux Folles, which sees Robin Williams and his partner Nathan Lane in, I think, Nathan Lane's role of a lifetime, and Robin Williams, as great as he ever was, managing a cabaret club in Miami, on Miami Beach. And the depth of this movie comes from the third act. Robin Williams has a son who he had obviously before he came out of the closet and opened up to being a homosexual and got into a relationship with Nathan Lane. So his son is getting married, and his son's bride-to-be have parents who are quite hardline, who are not open-minded, should we say, like someone we know. And the depth comes from the son asking Robin Williams, look, can you and Nathan Lane's character, who I can't remember the character's name, but the two main protagonists, can you guys tone it down on the openness and the homosexuality? Now, they start by agreeing, but the way the events transpire and end up is that they come out in front of the hardline parents, and the core of the movie is just about sexuality and orientation really don't matter here. What matters in a time like this, when you've got a son getting married, it's about unity. It's about family. It's about togetherness. It's about, as you said before, one love. The sexuality of a father, of a mother, of anyone in a family is not important. It is a time to celebrate people's love, and it is certainly not time to shun away from another two people's love just because of their sexual orientation. So Birdcage is my number 5, and I'd just like to throw another one in there. Robin Williams, who holds a very deep place in both of our hearts. No one, and I really believe this, no one with the use of their face, their muscles, the way they act with their face, the smiles they have, the depth in their eyes, no one can show love on a family level like Robin Williams. Be it in the Birdcage, Mrs. Doubtfire, Pan when he's Hook, when he's got his kids. I mean, he's one of the few actors who really broke my heart when he passed.
I felt like a bit of my childhood was ripped out.
Completely. I mean, I wrote what I believe to be a pretty lovely obituary for him on Facebook, and it ended with thank you for the memories, oh Captain, my Captain. And yeah, I'm getting a little choked up now thinking about it. So thank you, Robin Williams, for this great performance. Thank you to the whole cast, because this, as our top 5 suggests, definitely challenged sexual orientation prejudice.
Yeah.
Big time. My number 4 is less obvious, and you might jump at me for this one, but my number 4 is Bruno.
Right, I think we're going to punt just for a touch, because it's a bit further down in my list.
Further up, you mean?
Yeah, further up, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, coming down.
We'll punt for that one. My number 3 then, starring Charlize Theron and Christina Ricci, is Monster. And it's it's a very powerful movie, but it's very ambiguous. That's what I found so interesting about it.
And rightfully so.
Yeah, but it's never directly shown the way that it is in the Birdcage that Charlize Theron and Christina Ricci have a lesbian relationship. It's strongly implied, but it's never really shown. Christina Ricci's character, you feel a bit of
animosity.
Animosity is a good word. Yeah, you feel a bit of animosity towards her because she's the younger of the two. She's still coming to terms with who she is, and she's overly dependent on Charlize Theron, who, through actually becoming a prostitute, tries to move heaven, earth, mountains and the oceans for her to try and make the relationship work. Not just on their sexual and emotional level, but also on a level where, on just a general day-to-day level, where how do we get money, how are we going to eat, blah blah blah. She becomes a prostitute, she ends up killing people, and she's having to both come to terms with her sexual orientation and also her life choices, which are conducive towards her having a relationship with Christina Ricci. So you've got a huge dichotomy of opposing factors coming into play in this movie. And Charlize Theron, as always, just it's Oscar-worthy stuff what she delivers. Minus Aeon Flux.
Think
above AJ said.
We just have to throw in our throwback on that.
But I think it was a very, all but quite dark. It was a good way of showing a lesbian relationship and how two people from very different backgrounds cope and come together with that, and how one can be more dependent on the other, and how one, despite that overdependence or codependence, will try to make it work. It's a very touching story, and again, it portrays itself in a way that The lesbian factor is minor. It's a lot more focused on the love element. So again, it is challenging you to look beyond the obvious and see what's really at its core. And it's not the fact that they are lesbians, it's the fact that they are in love.
Yes, that's the one indeed. Okay, so that's your 3, isn't it?
That's my 3. Over to your number 5.
Okay, number 5, I believe. It's a touching story. I don't even believe you've seen it. I don't know if there was a cinema release. I don't even know if there's a DVD release. I think we're just at TV movie land. Mario Lopez, famous for being AC Slater from Saved by the Bell for everyone. Yeah, Mr. Macho himself in that era. He's in this film called Breaking the Surface, the Greg Louganis story. It's really funny, Greg. Yeah, I suppose it hasn't come.
Nope. Over my head, that
with
one.
No disrespect to, I believe he might have even gone to Olympics. It's been a while since I've seen the film and hard to catch it again. But it came to my mind instantly when we know this was a topic. Greg Louganis was a swimming diver off the diving boards, not the deep sea diving you do. He dived, yeah. And basically, it's the challenge that he had. And again, as you said, it removes. Yes, he was homosexual. That's the part that Mario Lopez plays as Greg Louganis. It was more the element of the struggle he had to go through in life, the abuse, and it's stuff that you just see it in a way that it's not just from a home. This happened in a straight relationship as well as a homosexual relationship, you know, and it's stuff like that. There was even the parts where he's hit his head against a diving board and he's bleeding, and it's the how do people approach this guy knowing he's homosexual? The way he's embraced by the community,
or not,
or not embraced. Exactly, it's the lack of embrace, and it's just the challenges someone had to go through.
So when he said on the diving board, I assume people didn't want to touch him,
exactly,
right?
Yeah, it was like
this because in a lot of the movies which touch on homosexuality and AIDS,
it's just really bad. And you know, it's just
you're not meant to feel disgust about touching a gay man bleeding. You're meant to feel, as an audience watching a movie like this, you should be feeling disgust at the people who don't want to help another human being.
Yeah, this is it, and it was one man's journey, and you know, it's more touching. Sometimes TV movies don't get the most popularity, but a lot of them also touch on real life stories, and this being one of them. And you just really see this journey, and you just have pity, not because he's gay, but you know, the journey he had to go through and the struggles.
Pity that because he's gay, he's put in a situation which he shouldn't have to be put into because he's gay.
Exactly, and that's exactly what it was. And yeah, it's not the most popular film out there, it's not a box office hit, but it was a touching film to me, and it had to make that to me for the top 5. Next one, this one, Desperate Housewife fans may have run to. That's my key reason behind it was good old Lynette Scarvo, Felicity Huffman, by real name, Transamerica. Yeah, really interesting journey.
I haven't seen that one.
Very interesting. We have the journey.
I was laughing because of your mention of Desperate Housewives. I know you used to love that show.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I'm not going to get... we're sticking on this topic. I still have to complete the final season, but I've seen most of it up until that. I love it. But yeah, it got me to the cinema, so that tells you how much I loved it. And this one follows Felicity's character as a pre-op transsexual.
Okay.
Just before getting the surgery, kind of similar to Birdcage, before embracing the transgender side to the character, was in a relationship and had a son that at the time he was unaware of.
Yeah.
So just before having the operation to transition, that's the word I'm looking for, transition into a female, the communication with the son's come up, and Felicity's character just completely denies the son, doesn't want anything to do with it, but mentions it to the doctor, and the doctor refuses to carry out the surgery until this situation has been resolved with the son. And still being dressed as a woman but being a man at the time, she reaches out to the son without revealing that she is indeed the father. And there's this journey of acceptance between them and build. You know, it seems there's someone there, and there's a lot of emotional acceptance and whatnot, and then there's a grand reveal. I don't want to get into spoiler territory, but there's the reveal of who this character actually is to the son, the link that they have, and it's really touching. And again, it just touches on this. Again, the key thing is acceptance and, I'm going to call it bigotry and prejudice against people.
It is prejudice.
Yeah, it's all of that.
Hey, he's looking at you.
You're more famous than we intended. Yeah, I don't want to mention the watered gremlin too many times, but hey, this is the way it is. Right? No, you've got your attention. You wanted it, you've got it. In the most positive way that I can give it to you. As I said, forward me an address. When the time is right, I'll give you an invite.
I'll send you a copy of this.
yeah, you'll definitely get that. But, it's It's all about acceptance, and it's a nice personal. It's a touching personal journey between. Again, going back to Birdcage, they have that similarity of family. You know, it works. It's nice. And then yes, this is where we punted. Bruno.
Yeah. Okay. Bruno isn't the most obvious choice. Because Bruno plays a lot on stereotypes, and stereotypes, one would argue, are actually kind of counterproductive to the theme of what we're going for here. Allow me to disagree.
I think we agree for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Actually.
Sacha Baron Cohen isn't a genius because he knows how to comedify or stereotype races or social classes or sexualities.
Ali G.
Ali G, he dealt with social prejudice. Borat, he dealt with racial prejudice. Bruno, he is dealing with homophobia.
Yeah.
Okay? The elements which, I mean, yeah, it's funny because it's meant to be lighthearted, but the elements that are funny are not him going, "What's up? I'm Bruno."
It's the reactions.
It's the reaction. So it kind of blends this very, very clever and dangerous in some ways, at least from his perspective. It blends a very dangerous combination of jackassery. And what I mean by that is the way that Jackass, a lot of the comedy factor was out of seeing how people reacted. That's in Bruno. Versus a topic and theme which is actually very controversial and sadly still is controversial, which it shouldn't be.
Well, yeah. The water continues pouring.
The water continues pouring, Gremlin. Damn cave troll. No, look, the fact of the matter is that I'll give you a prime example from the movie. It is when in the UFC wannabe fight
Octagon,
ring,
yeah,
fight ring, yeah. He's
MMA.
playing a character called Straight Dave, all right, who earlier in the movie was Bruno, and then he's basically trying to become famous, and he becomes famous by being a character called Straight Dave, and his former partner Lutz, great name, Lutz, comes into the ring calling him gay. Who said that? Who called Straight Dave gay? Get him in here, and they end up embracing in the middle of a ring in Alabama, surrounded by a load of Alabama boys. Now, I am not being prejudiced against Alabama boys. It was actually set, and it says clearly Alabama, all right? And the people lose their mind. Now, as well as it's funny, because that's not down to what's actually going on. You can shoot something in a way that it's funny. You know, they did it to the backing track of Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On. I mean, that marred with the scenes of violence that surrounded them is funny. But if you actually step back a minute and look at this movie,
It was a dangerous thing.
it was
to think.
dangerous, but the fact that these people are reacting so strongly, I mean, they're throwing bottles, they're throwing food, they threw a chair at him at one stage. All this because he's gay?
Sad. Yeah, this is.
Hello, are we talking about challenging sexual prejudice? This movie did it.
That's why it reached further down, because as everyone's, it has the elements to offend. It, like Ali G could offend certain cultures. You know, he's trying to over black, if there's such a thing as over black in it, or you know,
That is wicked.
yeah, you know, you can look at whichever way. And again, you look at Bruno in a similar vein. Even Borat, you know, it takes a very offensive term to some degree to some people, and I can see where you can get offended.
Well, the Kazakhs were offended by Borat.
I wouldn't hesitate to believe that for 1 second. But you
But a
have to
few
look.
of my gay friends, that one particular comes to mind whose name I won't mention, but he actually enjoyed Bruno deeply for the reasons I've just mentioned. He said it really challenged people to not look at stereotypes and to look at themselves.
But the thing is, do you know, I'm going to go on a personal level in this, as you highlighted to me earlier. Thank you for the past 30 years of my life. I didn't realise I'm black, right? No, I'm joking.
Really?
I did know before I get the hate on that. But going back to it, right, is the element of, you're going to have stereotypes about colours and races, right? You're going to have stereotypes upon homosexuals. Stereotypes come out because...
Homosexuals, lesbians, bisexuals, transsexuals, transgenders,
LGBT,
whatever.
yeah.
LGBT.
The reason behind every stereotype, some are unfounded, don't get me wrong, but they have hints of it in any way you want to look at.
Of course.
Yeah. And in these stereotypes, it's there. You shouldn't really have to be ashamed of who you are.
No, absolutely not.
So in the fact that you're going to look at parts of Bruno and be like, there are certain homosexuals who act that way. Right?
But they look positive. You look at the gay pride parade; they look positively thrilled about it.
This is exactly
They look happy as Larry.
In the offence
Gay
of it,
also means happy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, come on.
In the offence of it, I believe people look at it because it's a straight guy playing that role. However, as you said, you look at the gay pride; it is there. That's the elements that certain people have.
Yeah.
Now, in that, it's not that he's offending. The actual offence comes from the reaction.
Yes.
It's down to reaction and.
Or that scene where they've strapped themselves up, granted in a very provocative way in the hotel, and the hotel management do not want to help them because they don't want to touch them because they've been doing gay acts. I'm like, really? Give a man a hand. Not necessarily in the way he's asking, but give a man a hand.
Exactly, and that's what it is. It's just about accepting people. Put it this way, and I'm not even you, my friend, who influenced this. You don't have to get on with everyone. I don't know you personally. You just tried to be funny and it didn't work. You just helped us out on the show. If that's your personal view, that's your personal view. I'm not here to judge. You want it, as I said, you got an invite to my wedding anyway. Now, not everyone's for everyone. I can appreciate that. But my personal thing is, if you're annoying, you're annoying. It's not because you're black, you're white, you're Asian. It's not because you're gay, lesbian, or trans, or bisexual. None of that makes you annoying.
It's not because you're a man or a woman.
Exactly. It's down to you as an individual. And that's what it comes down to. And
making comments like when are you two YouTube gay boys getting married, it just makes me think, well, this needs to be spoken about.
It needs to. And that's why I welcome this. As I just said, you highlighted a topic just on the fact of there is no insult in orientation.
No, but it's a great topic to talk about. So 2 thumbs way up from both of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Go follow him. Subscribe to his page if he has any videos.
No, I've checked.
Funny that. Anyway, it must be after midnight when he wrote it. Anyway. You dug, I dug. Hey, we're cool, we're even. You want to continue? No, I'm not going to give up.
No, come on. Keep it nice.
We're calm. As I said, I have no hate against you. None whatsoever.
A bit of pity, but I feel sorry for him.
It's just the way life is.
Be more open, my friend.
That's it.
We're not here about him. Let's get on to the movies.
No, that's what I'm saying.
He's getting too much time. We've said our thank you. Move on.
Yeah.
My number 2 is, and I know you haven't seen this one, but Brokeback Mountain.
Okay.
This movie is based on Pulse's short story, plot summarized in as briefly as possible without giving away any spoilers. 2 cowboys are put onto a mountain called Brokeback Mountain to herd sheep for a summer. One of them makes a sexual pass at another, and things proceed from there. Following this, when their term herding the sheep is coming to an end, the one who made the sexual pass wishes to stay with the other. He refuses, they get into a bloody punch-up. Both of them go off and lead separate-ish lives, getting married, alright? One of them has 2 kids. And over the years, their paths keep on crisscrossing. And things continue to progress. And you can clearly tell the love is there. Now, they also end up both getting divorced in the process, and then the one who made the initial attempt tries to get back with him again, and it's still refused. Now that's when the movie gets really interesting, is because when the passeur makes the second attempt to bring them together as a couple to the passee, which was Heath Ledger's character, he says no, simply because they are in an environment, they are in a location which does not openly accept them as being homosexual, and he is afraid, tragic as it may be, he is afraid of what it would do to his 2 kids and what it would do to his family. One of them ends up not having a very pleasant ending, and the ending doesn't stop there. It is very touching. It's something to do with the 2 bloody shirts, which are still together when they had their fight.
Okay.
It's very touching. And you know what? This movie, I think Hollywood now is as liberal as it gets. You know, like 2 years ago. Last year, no, it was 2 years ago. Yeah. Dallas Buyers Club came out, which got Oscar attention. This movie came out 10 years ago, which had Oscar attention. But you know, you go back 20, 30 years, movies were not the movie industry wasn't so open to these sort of things. You look at things like sports nowadays, it's still difficult for professional sportsmen to come out and openly say they're gay. Some actors won't openly say they're gay because they are in an environment where they are not comfy to do so for fear of being judged and not having their career advance or even being halted, right? That is wrong, and that's why I think this movie is deserving of attention, not only because of its subject matter, but because of the fact that it got a huge amount of Oscar attention. Now, I have to take a little tangent here and say, do I personally love it? No, but that's not because of the subject matter. I'm not the biggest fan of the director, who is Ang Lee, who's made movies like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and The Hulk. I don't like his directing style. Unfortunately, the topics and subjects you pick I do find fascinating. Asian martial artists, Marvel superheroes, homosexual exploration. Those are interesting subjects. I just don't like his execution in them.
I'm gonna,
I bet that's what kept you away.
I have a gap between Ang Lee movies. I respect them for what they are and the raving reviews they get. I just not fond of it, so I give myself a couple of years between them, and I think I've left enough years now to. I think it just, you leave it a while, then it passes the radar. But I've now just been reminded, and I think it's time for me to watch it. It is the Ang Lee element.
It's worth seeing.
Jake Gyllenhaal, the late great Heath Ledger. There's nothing from that, they both went on to...
Anne Hathaway appeared in it.
Hey, we had Catwoman and the Joker. Sorry, had to do a comic book reference to that. But no, I'm joking. But sticking to that element, it was very, very... listening to the story, it's very powerful, and it's worth a look at. Just directorial skill is the only reason I chose not to go down that route.
Yeah, the acting ability in it is phenomenal.
It's a strong cast. It's a very strong cast. There's nothing more to be said.
And they both went on from there, where they already achieved greatness, to excel even further. I mean, Gyllenhaal just can do no wrong at the moment. And Nightcrawler last year, I think he was robbed of an Academy, at least a nomination. He didn't even get nominated for Nightcrawler, which was insane. Granted, last year it was a strong lineup, but I mean, he was unreal in Nightcrawler. Okay. He was great in Zodiac. Heath Ledger went on, as we all know, to play one of the most memorable roles, and this isn't because he died, it's a fact, one of the most memorable roles in cinema history.
If you believe
as the
that
Joker.
Heath Ledger got attention for that because he died, I don't think you understand cinema.
Really not.
To me, that film is just captivating, and it's because of him. But I don't want to touch on that. We're touching on Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I've said my piece on Brokeback Mountain. Let's go with your number two.
Okay, number two. My number two is actually very similar to yours, but from a different aspect.
Okay.
It's Lost and Delirious. Have you never heard of it?
No.
It's amazing, some of the films I've come across. This one actually caught my eye, similar to the way Breaking the Surface caught my eye with Mario Lopez. When reading it, I saw Piper Perabo from Coyote Ugly. Yeah, she's in it, and that just kind of caught my eye. Funny enough, it's really embarrassing when I saw her. I thought she was Hilary Swank just by the way that her character looked on the. But yeah, that's my judgment, not anything on their similarities and look. But the film's really touching. It's about two girls in a boarding school who actually end up in a relationship. But again, very similar to Brokeback Mountain, actually, which I kind of guess had a similar touch to it. Didn't know how to embrace it all, and you have one of the characters who actually then wants to go off into a straight relationship, but they still have very strong feelings for each other. And I don't want to spoil the end. I think very similar to Brokeback, you don't want to give the end to it. It has a lot of touch to it, but there's a lot of emotion in the acceptance and the fear of family acceptance, how the rest of the school's going to take it to them. There's two young girls in love, and by definition, that's not what's meant to happen. Yes, you're in a boarding school, but people wanted it. It's all at a time where people judge it to be straight relationships. All the other girls are straight. There are no other homosexuals. So it's just those two in a relationship sharing a dorm, but there are other people.
What sort of age group?
They're in their teens.
Okay, so peer pressure.
Yeah,
huge
exactly.
peer pressure.
Huge peer pressure. As we've always gone out and said, and we put our hands up to it, as much as we are two guys here, we know that the teenage female demographic rule the world.
Who run the world? Girls.
Exactly. And it's just, it was one of those films, again, I didn't hear about it, I happened to stumble across it. But if you're talking about the challenges of orientation, this film was pretty strong in that category. And it has a really touching end, because you just think to yourself, you guys are in love, don't deny it. You don't have to do something because society deems it right. You know, we're individuals. Each person is built the way they are. Yes, we have common grounds. We're both film fans. But I'm an Arsenal fan. This is for the UK who's going to understand.
Chelsea fan.
We have differences.
First London team to be champions of Europe. Booyah!
We didn't have to go that deep. We're just talking life and choices, you know, and not in that there are still other London teams. There are still other UK teams.
I'm kidding.
But you get the whole aspect. We have many divisions in England because there are so many football teams, each with their own followers and supporters.
Now on a little deeper level, those divisions are divisions in quality, not divisions amongst people.
No, exactly that. This is exactly what I'm saying. We all have a choice. We all have a preference. It doesn't matter. We've always had a red and blue thing. You're lucky this show was called Silver Screeners. It might have been called something mixed with those colours at one point. Because everything I do is red, he's always been blue.
Except when it comes to Star Wars.
Yeah.
I am dark side through and through.
We both want a red lightsaber. But this is how it goes. And yeah, I think throughout, and it's consistent in it, that people have a choice and they shouldn't be hated on for it. Right, you're number one.
I think it's going to be your number one. I'm just guessing. I'm going to throw it out there. Does it star, ironically, a black man and a white man?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, okay.
Both very strong Academy winners at that. Yeah.
Okay, we know what it is. Starring Denzel Washington
and Tom Hanks.
Not
that we're saying we look like either of them. It just happens to be the coincidence.
Well, maybe next life. maybe next life.
Maybe indeed. Yeah.
Philadelphia.
Wow. As I've said it already, each week I'm going to have a hashtag wow, and I think this is my worthy hashtag wow of a movie. And coincidentally, I happened to have stumbled across it sometime this week again, which just reminded me
goddamn movie.
What a powerful movie.
Tom Hanks blew the roof off of sexual orientation prejudice in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no movie that better describes sexuality prejudice. The fact that he loses his job because someone has framed him and that someone dislikes him because of the fact that he is gay, and then the way he's turned down by all the lawyers.
Lawyer after lawyer. Even Denzel Washington.
Even Denzel turns him down, and then by chance Denzel sees him in the library, and this bloody librarian screams out loud, "Yay! Found books on homosexuality defense," and the whole library just shifts away from him. And Denzel's character has a brilliant arc, because although he turned him away to start with, the fact that he was disgusted by the way that people shunned him and moved away from him because he was gay.
Yeah.
That's what made him actually help him out. And what's so heartbreaking is, obviously, I mean, this is an old movie now, no spoilers, but, I mean, no, we're going to have to talk spoilers, but the way that he crashes down in the middle of the case, and then he's visited by Antonio Banderas. Remember that?
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas is his partner, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know...
what a performance by Tom Hanks.
We're talking...
My God, what a performance.
Philadelphia is 20... it's between the 19 to the 20 plus years. I'm not too sure. It may land up in our throwbacks, and if it does, I look forward to the day, even though we've kind of summarised it all here.
Yeah. And
I can't think of another film of that era that really touched upon acceptance and made you, it spins you. You know, I think Denzel's character is quite powerful in that, because it gives you this element of what, I don't want to say the general prejudice, but it sounds like the correct word. You know, it's a common prejudice that's out there. People who were prejudiced against homosexuals had that kind of view. Oh, that guy's gay, she's a lesbian, I don't want to know, forget it. And it's the acceptance that...
using gay as an insult.
Yeah. And it just really starts to... We're people. I can't emphasize this enough throughout this whole subject. We're people, we have choices, and you're an individual. You can't get sacked from your job for your sexuality. Get sacked for being an idiot.
Well, be careful, because he wasn't sacked because of his sexuality, but he was framed for being because of his sexuality.
When I say that, is in the fact that someone wanted to get rid of you because of that. And I mean, how pathetic.
No.
How pathetic. And I mean, you know what? We may have a top 5 on racial occurrences as well later on in life. You know, racial stereotype. There's a few. And you just think to yourself, why?
American History X, I'm looking at you, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I do look forward to talking about that movie. But where do we have? Why does this happen? And it happens, and you can't stop prejudice. But I'm hoping films like this do help reduce it and eventually eradicate it.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need it. You can't. We will never. Silver screen dudes came about from two guys who have similar yet different opinions, right? We have a passion for film, and that was common ground. We've been friends for the longest while. We've known each other for the longest while. We don't endorse hate.
No.
By any means, whether it's due to orientation, gender, colour, background, religious beliefs. It's not about that. It's all about appreciation.
Quote American History X, hate is baggage.
Yeah, it really and truly is. And Philadelphia was the movie to show you.
Oh yeah.
It just made you think, why? Why? Go and prove it. What's the reason behind your hate?
There is none.
There is none. You will never find it.
It is a unfounded, irrational prejudice.
100%.
Sound familiar?
Do you know what? I'm gonna give our friend the benefit of the doubt.
What, the troll?
The troll, the gremlin, whichever way we've called you. I'm reaching out to you via your screen name, which escapes my head right now. I'm not going to ask you your age. I don't really want to know. If you have a personal problem with myself, with Nico, I would appreciate a comment right now, just stating what it is. Whatever it is. You believe our statement towards boxing?
You didn't like something we said.
I know this. State it correctly. But trying to insult either of us by talking orientation
It's
will
not
not
an
work.
insult.
Right? Call him black, call me white. Call me black, call him white. It won't change anything. You know why? We're people. I don't want to get into like Jerry Springer's final thought.
Jerry.
I'm going to bring it. You want to debate with us? Debate with us.
Tell us
I'm
why
willing
you
to
think
put-
opposite to us.
I'm willing to put my email address if you want it, and we
it's
can
there.
talk.
It's there.
Yeah,
They
there's a
can
silver
email us
screen
if they want. Yeah.
But if you want to talk to me personally, you can find me personally. It's not a problem. But trying to insult via any ism, sexism, racism, whichever way you want to go about it, it doesn't work, my friend. You've inspired a top 5. We take negatives, we turn them into positives. We take the black, we take the white, we made silver.
Nice.
That's the way we work.
Couldn't have said it better myself. On that note, we need to do a Mount Rushmore.
We will. Okay,
wrap this
obviously,
fool up.
locked in, number 1, Philadelphia, 100%. So, do you know what? I'm going to spin this.
LGBT?
Let's go for the words LGBT. So we're going to
LGBT.
take the lesbian element. I've got Lost and Delirious.
I've got Monster.
I'm quite...
I think yours is
passionate.
more obvious than mine.
Okay, right. So, for the L, we're going for Lost and Delirious.
Yeah.
For the G.
G
being
Philadelphia.
Gay, Philadelphia, 100%.
Yeah. B Brokeback Mountain.
B for Brokeback, B for bisexual, that's the way we're going. And T for transgender, Trans America, it's in the name.
Simple.
It's there, it's locked.
Lock
There
it
wasn't
in.
even a debate, it's just the way we are. We embrace people, life, love. That's what the Silver Screen Dudes are about. Subscribe, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We're here all week. My friend, good luck. We're waiting to hear from you and everybody else because that's what it's all about. So for myself, Anthony Jordan,
For myself, Nico Luro.
signing out.
See ya.